Hello! Welcome to your Friday video. I am recording it Friday. Oh no, go that way. The video goes the opposite direction. So it's Friday afternoon for me. While you're watching this, I'm gigging, so I'm sorry I can't be with you live. But I feel like the pre-recorded ones are quite useful because, I mean, for everybody that watched the last video, you will see quite how distracting it is when Tiny Dog is awake and trying to juggle her and trying to sort of have slight semblance of life in the loosened lockdown world means I want to be able to do these videos quite regularly for you, and so that we don't lose momentum and interest. And if there's only one a week, it's a bit, isn't it? But I can't commit to being there every night or even 3 nights a week at the moment. I think September I probably can do, but at the moment there's live gigs and I'm lapping them up. So much so that I actually turned up to a gig last night that I wasn't booked on. So I have to go and do that tonight after the gig I thought I was doing tonight. So things are a bit chaotic, but I feel like the premieres are okay, aren't they? You guys can chat in the comments, and then I can catch up and join you in the comments afterwards. And I'm getting used to talking to my webcam with nobody being in the chats for me to talk back to. So I feel like this is a nice compromise so that we can get it going, because otherwise it was just all going to get too far away. So I don't know why I'm apologising. I think you guys are okay with this. And if you're not, it's a free thing, so, just don't donate to the coffee, I suppose, if you hate this, and I'll learn my lesson and be better at giving free stuff away next time. Anyway, so like and subscribe, please do a thumbs up on the video. If nothing else, it gives me a good idea of who's kind of invested in the story, Like, I know that we're getting 100 or so views on each one, which is lovely if 100 people are watching, but then I know the comments are more like sort of 30 votes per, so I don't know if there's people watching but not wanting to vote. Fair enough, but if you are watching and enjoying, if you could just give it a thumbs up, that is wonderful. Today's chapter, you guys voted that, what did you vote? Oh, you voted as to whether Ezria notices that Marine is dry. It was not a close vote. You guys think Ezra is sharp? I really enjoyed some of the theories. How many fingers do Tingians have? Dunno, maybe I'll get you to vote on it later. Do Ezra and Marine get on? Dunno, get you to vote on it. Why are they looking for the lost stone? Dunno. You might be voting on that today. It's really exciting, this one, because everything doesn't have to follow sort of real rules. I am making this up as I go along based on your voting. So there's quite a big vote at the end of this one, a mystical vote. You won't know what you're voting for, but it's going to have big outcomes. Wah! So let's hit chapter 5, shall we? Let's find out. So where did we leave it? At the end of chapter 4, they're going back to the lost stone to excavate it, but Ezria says, on Asma and move forward, Marine with me. But why? Chapter 5. Marine felt her blood. Oh God. Ugh. I've had 2 cups of tea and yet still can't read. Come on, Laura. Nice. Marine felt her blood run cold. There you go. I got the 4th word right, 2nd time. Marine felt her blood run cold. Why did Ezria want her specifically? She must have noticed that Marine was the only one in the company who was bone dry. Of course she must have noticed. Ezria was one of the sharpest Tingians alive. She noticed everything. It was her job to notice everything. How can I explain this? Panicked Marine as the company formed up behind Asma and Marine shuffled to Ezria's side. She tried desperately to rub against people as they passed her, but the droplets merely sheened off her skin. Don't know if sheen's a word. I like it though. She pleaded silently with her magic to back off for just long enough for her to get through this undetected. Please, she reasoned with herself, shouldn't magic be of some benefit to me? Asma gave the armed salute, and the company jogged back towards the lost stone. Marine arrived silently at Ezria's side and waited. She felt like her stomach was missing from her middle. Just a cold pool lay where her innards should be. Was this the end of everything she had worked for? All those long seasons of training and passing exams, was it all about to come to an end before she had finished her first mission? What would her parents say? Would they even let her stay with them? She kept pace with Ezria as Ezria began to follow the company across the grass. There was a good foot of space between the last commando and them. Marine swallowed dryly. Of course it was dry. Everything about her was dry. She kept her footsteps as silent as she could. Her eyes were fixed on the back of Seishan, the Tingian bringing up the rear of the company. She could feel Ezria's eyes on her, though. "Stop," said Ezria quietly, and Marine came to a smooth and abrupt halt in the middle of the grass. The last drops of rain were gently landing around them, nowhere near the ferocity of the beginning of the downpour. It almost felt like the rain could barely be bothered to carry on falling. "Look at me," came Ezria's quiet, firm voice. Marine felt so exposed. She didn't know which was worse, being isolated in the middle of the grass where any human or animal could suddenly spot them, or being the sole focus of the incredible mind of Ezria Talaglashi. Marine looked up and fixed her eyes onto Ezria's. As she did so, she saw a splash of rain land squarely on the top of Ezria's head. The mighty shoulders flinched and the knees absorbed the shock, but Ezria stood firm, blinking the water out of her eyes. "What's the difference between you and I?" asked Ezria, her tone light but gilded with a menacing thread. Marine raced through the possible answers in her head. She could be sycophantic. "There are so many differences, Ezria, I wouldn't know where to start." But that wouldn't play. She could play dumb. That would be worse. "I'm dry," she heard her voice say. It was crispy and faint, barely audible over the myriad sounds of the topside. Ezria nodded, smiling approvingly, and in the midst of her inner turmoil, Marine relaxed a little. She felt like perhaps she had got the answer right. As her shoulders relented from their tight balls, another raindrop landed just between the two Tingians. It splashed up, re-drenching Ezria's legs. They both watched as the water that should have cascaded down Marine seemed to hit an invisible barrier and then relax into the grass. Ezria's eyes flicked up from Marine's legs to her face. "Unless you have some kind of special uniforms that I am not aware of, I think we ought to discuss this when we get back down below." Marine nodded dumbly, feeling her world come crashing down around her ears. At least she wasn't being fired on the spot, left up on the topside to get eaten where she wouldn't cause further complications down below. Ezria flicked her head towards the stone and trotted off back to the undergrowth without another word. Marine followed her, but her feet felt heavy and all adrenaline had melted into the floor. It was all so unfair. Marine arrived back with the team in the formation around the lost stone. It was half sticking out of the now sodden soil. Aesma approached it cautiously and tapped it with her stick. It rocked gently back and forward. Did we pick an accent for Aesma? I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch the videos. Did we? I feel like French was all we had, wasn't it? I tell you what, you love Swedish. Aesma sounds like a fun name. It also is sounding more and more to me like Yzma, who is from my favourite Disney film, The Emperor's New Groove. Maybe that's why I mentioned it. Should we make her Swedish? I can't even remember how to do Swedish. Hello, Sweden. That's it, right. "All hands to its north face," barked Aesma in a loud whisper. There you go. I can feel you all cackling. I can't even see the comments coming in, and I can tell that they're happening. "All hands to its north face," barked Aesma in a loud whisper. The company immediately formed up, ready to rock and push the stone out of its muddy bed. Marine reached forward to get in on the action. "No!" came Ezria's cry, and all of their heads whipped around to see what the danger was. "Marine, hands down!" scolded Ezria, and Marine immediately tucked her hands by her side. She felt the curious looks of the company on her as they fell back to work. The stone was wiggling and rocking and squelching in the mud as they worked it loose. Marine stared dumbly at her shoes, humiliated and trying desperately not to cry. Not that she was even sure she could cry while the magic was keeping all the moisture at bay. She felt a presence by her side and looked up. Ezria was holding out a pair of gloves. "Put these on," whispered Ezria. "Do not touch the stone with your skin." Marine did as she was told. "Help your company," said Ezria quietly, and turned away to join Aesma in laying out the cloth in front of the lost stone. Their intention was to rock the stone onto the cloth, and then they could drag it back to the expedition hole and lower it back down to the city. The manoeuvring was slow and hard. Sweat poured off the little band of Tingians, but eventually the stone flumped over onto its side, and they scurried to wrap the cloth around it and secure the ends with rope. "We will take a rest," instructed Ezria, "and we'll move it when the light fades. Find a sleeping position within whisper distance and shut your eyes. Good work, team. We're halfway." Marine lay down in the midst of her comrades and ran her gloved hands over each other miserably. Was this the beginning or the end? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Now, your question, which you won't know what it means, but I know, and I can't wait to see what. Why is my nose so tickly? I think I've just washed my hair and it's tickling. You don't need to know this. Just make the story climactic, Laura. Your question for Monday. Yes, we will have a live one on Monday. Your question for Monday is, what colour is the lost stone? Would you like it to be red, green, blue, or black? So it's going to have an effect on the life of Marine. What colour is the lost stone? Red, green, blue, or black? You can vote all weekend. I will be writing Monday afternoon, I expect. So if you're watching on catch up, feel free to vote. If you don't want to vote, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand. But if you could give it a little thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. And please buy my book. It is out on the 3rd of September. You can pre-order it now. Blah, blah, blah. And if you would like to say thank you for these stories, I have a coffee page. If you ko-fi.com/LauraLex, I think, something like that. Anyway, Google it. You know what you're doing. You're on the internet. You can throw me a cup of tea to say thank you, but no pressure. I do this because I like you and I like writing and telling stories. I will be back probably with Mackie Dog on Monday at 10 p.m. British Standard Time. Summertime? Can't remember. See you then. Take care of yourselves. Bye.